Yo, David Wolfe, I love your stuff, man. I just wanted to make a video to give you just a quick little tribute because I've always loved your work, and you were actually a teacher for myself at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I love the fact that you collaborate with them, and I actually followed your work before that too. I remember you were, friends with Mike Adams, the health ranger, and you guys would basically go around in Texas. You would explore the world, and you still do, which is great. You see a lot of things. You're open to a lot of topics. You're a free thinker, you're free-minded, you're creative, you're funny, and you're high energy, and I think that's amazing, and the world definitely needs that. The world definitely looks up to it, and that's what makes you, stand out. So I really appreciate that, and I think that you deserve a thank you. Not enough people get that nowadays for the work that they do and their ability to speak up about things and not being afraid to speak up. So because this is a video about you, I figured, I'd show you some cocoa powder I got. I made my own label for it. It says Endra Lattes because my last name is Endra. That's cocoa powder, and of course I had to bring the cocoa butter too because you can't have one without the other, right? Get that more bold chocolate flavor, as you say. I make those chocolate smoothies you mentioned. I even have Mike Adams health products. Look, guys, I'm not sold out to David Wolfe, but if I'm going to sell it to someone, I'm going to sell it to David Wolfe. So, but to be honest, no, I really appreciate your stuff, and I just wanted to make this because I've always loved your stuff and your energy, and like I said, that ability you were expressing of freedom of speech, and you were promoting safe messaging platforms like Telegram. You're promoting trying to get away from censorship, and it's sad to see that it's affecting individuals like you too, and individuals in the health movement. I'm trying to look at the world like the body, as a health coach myself, and somebody who's writing a book, and somebody who has done presentations, and I could also see the the slide behind me. But the point is that I think what needs to also happen is a conversation about not just healing the body, but healing the world, right? From all its ailments, to which then we see, right, the macrocosm and the macrocosm, as above, so below, and the principle of correspondence and so forth. This is actually a concept within natural law. So I'm not sure if you actually looked into the concept of natural law before, but I figured, you'd be interested because you talk about natural medicine. So natural law is a concept that basically you can look at it as the karmic law, the moral law, God's law, right, or the golden rule, the law of attraction. So do unto others what you would want done to you, and that's actually common throughout all 13 of the biggest religions on earth. And we can connect so much within our universe, right? And we see that Trump brought this energy in 2016. You brought this energy always through all your works, and that's what always inspired individuals to want to get the cocoa powder, the cocoa butter, look into chocolate, see that it's healthy, it's a vegetable, right? It's connected to the heart. I remember all that. You guys going for cactuses, and fasting for B vitamins off of cactus juice, and amazing stuff, getting that natural high as usual, right? And looking into mushrooms, amazing stuff. But the point is that yes, I think you would like natural law. I think that if you were interested, I would suggest look into Mark Passio's natural law. Of course, we're just fellow messengers, we're fellow human beings, so I wanted to just leave you off as something that you can look into, not just to feed your ego, but come on, you deserve it. So, but the natural law is really something I would suggest if you haven't looked into, and I even made a movement around the natural law, sort of just to help people unify around these universal truths, especially at a time such as now, where people are so divided with one another, and schemes such as divide and conquer, for example. So, no surprise when we look at the power system and how they sort of feed themselves with that knowledge that they keep away from the public. That's why natural law is also called occult knowledge. Occult means hidden. So that's where you can connect the dots there, and the natural law really helps us understand the nature of government, the nature of our rights. Does a human being have the right to rule over another human being? It's all there detailed. So morality and consciousness and common sense is all detailed there with natural law. So I just figured that'd be something you'd be interested in, and I'll have it on the screen for you there, and also in the links in case you're interested. But it's also on my website, Nita.one, which is for that movement I'm sort of proposing. You don't have to promote it or whatever, but it's up to you, and it's basically just to get around these ideas that nature's the answer, and that's what Nita stands for. So NITA.ONE. So, we are one unified people, right? We're all connected, all of us as human beings. right? This consciousness that we are, this energy we feel in the current day and age. We all understand that there's something not right, that something needs to change. And that is a beautiful thing, actually. Not something to be feared about, but something that we can let it inspire us to do more, to get behind those who are willing to be the whistleblowers and expose that information and provide the structure so that way, they aren't hurt if they leave their jobs and for exposing that information. And really provide a method of transformation too, right? Because integrative nutrition talks about this, where it's transformation, not just information. So getting out there and actually doing the work and encouraging others. And so that's exactly what I've been doing with Nature's the Answer and Nita.1. So, if you want to look into that, great. I've always appreciate your feedback. I've always appreciated your work. And I figured you might be open to watching a video like this because of how well tuned you are to your community and how you have, your little inner circles and stuff. I think that's really amazing that you do that. And I'm still learning, how to do fasting and stuff. I'm young though, so I don't know if I want to do that quite yet. But the point is, I do have all the superfoods and stuff, so that's good, at least, right? I can notice the energy, I can notice the mental cognition. You can see it, perhaps, right, in my different videos and so forth. I have many different videos in case you're interested. But yeah, thank you for watching, and just wanted to leave you off with some resources. I appreciate everything you've always done, and remember that cocoa is life. Cocoa is love. Chocolate is amazing, and everybody should have cocoa powder in case they're watching this video. And if they don't know David Wolfe, look into David Wolfe. David Wolfe is a great individual. And so is Mike Adams. I don't know if you guys have contacted each other as of recently, but I think, this conversation is necessary as to the action that we all need and how we need numbers, and essentially, to promote the universal truths that are here and all around us, that are hidden, from us in the education system as it is. So thank you, David Wolfe. Peace out. And one quick thing, oftentimes I do see people are criticizing David Wolfe for being crazy and so forth. He's speaking his mind, he's a human being, he's got a heart, he has a passion. Let him speak his mind. He's a free thinker. You'll notice this upon just the way he thinks. He wants to open people's minds. What's the problem with that? We get innovation from questioning the current norms and making questions based off of that. That's what real science is at the end of the day. That's what this trivium process is. That's what problem solving is. It's all part of the natural law. I'm sure he knows so many aspects of this. He's talking so much about many, many different topics. And to say, oh, well, he's crazy and he's this and he's that, it's like, at least consider the words, because not everything we see in day-to-day life is correct. From textbooks and science and history and so forth. How do we know any of that is actually correct? We have to question the world around us, all the aspects thereof. For we didn't live 100 years ago or 200 years ago. Our ancestors did, however. We're taking the narrative based on what people are telling us. We have to seek our intuition, we have to meditate upon this knowledge, we have to look at different observations, we have to look into the information if we truly want to make any decision. But to just outright say that somebody's crazy, it's like saying, well, I didn't do any research, I didn't really care looking into it. Well, what I have after this to show is what I see is a really good video from David Wolfe talking about many different topics, and you can just see how open-minded he is with so many different things. And for that, if David Wolfe is watching this, again, I thank you for speaking your mind in a world where so many people may be afraid, and you've been doing it all this time. That just shows you how powerful you really are, at mind, at soul, at body, at heart. And so yes, the heart chakra is where we must go, the center of all things. You understand brain imbalance, scientism being a problem, but also extreme religionism. You understand those aspects. These are all things that Mark Passio teaches as well. So that's why I figured, to give you that shout out. Thank you for watching, and I hope everybody enjoys the following clips. In case you haven't heard from David Wolfe yet, this might give you a good intro.
I've been battling scientism trolls on Twitter. Do you know what scientism is? This is an important thing for us to get started in our understanding, because I've come from a family of medical doctors. I am trained in the sciences. I have an environmental and mechanical engineering degree. I have a political science degree, and I have a degree in law, and I have a master's degree in nutrition. And I got to tell you, it's all a bunch of bullshit. It is. That people have bought into science as a religion. all the things that are theories, they believe are facts. That's such an important thing, what I'm saying right there. What do we know about science? What can we say about science over the last 100 years? Thank you. It's evolving. It changes. So as soon as you go, it doesn't change, and this is a fact, then that's a belief system. We're no longer doing science. Science doesn't have a belief system. We're into what's called scientism. And that's the religion of science, where it's a fact that we evolved from a chimpanzee. It's a fact, the Big Bang. It's a fact that we're living on a ball spinning in the middle of nowhere, millions of light years away from anything else. It's right? These are sold to us as facts. They are not. They're theories. And these theories have holes in them. And so I pick apart those theories. And the way I got into this is through medicine. Because over the years, I started finding out there are other ways to heal yourself other than cut, burn, poison therapies. There are other ways to heal yourself other than the materialist pill for every ill. And so that started to cause me to go, there's other things like this toe, and this broken foot is basically the joint of the first toe. You know what that's? My brother. My brother's in a lot of trouble and in a lot of pain. And that's what that is. And until I address that and get him on the phone and talk it through with him, that's not going to heal properly. You break a knee or an elbow, it's your brother and sister. I mean, come on. We're so far into scientism, we're going, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? The scientism is pushing this hyper-materialistic agenda upon us that emotions, that doesn't mean anything. Your mental state, that doesn't mean anything. Your spiritual position on an issue doesn't mean anything. Only thing that matters is materialism. And therefore, we get the pill for every ill. Therefore, we get the genetically modified food. Which, by the way, I just was in a battle with. I was blocking 3 of these people per minute for about 3 days. That's how hardcore these people are in their spiritual, religious, fundamentalist scientism position. So if you're wondering, why are we getting genetically modified food? Or how come it's not labeled? Or how come we get this vaccine story shoved down our throat without the other side of the story? Because I've done these events, you've heard, I've done thousands of events all over the world and all over the United States and all over Canada. And the people who show up to my events are vaccine-injured children and parents. So I've known about this for decades. And this can't exist in scientism. Vaccines are safe and effective, and there is no other position except that there is. Because of the cognitive dissonance, we have to immediately get rid of all other evidence that says that there could be a problem, that the one-size-fits-all vaccine has a problem. Shocking truth be told. They won't hear it. They won't allow it, and in fact, they will crucify you. Try it. Get out there. Do what I've been doing. She's in that world. Thank you. Do what I've been doing. You will see what we're up against. These people are vicious. They're religious fundamentalists. You'd think that what we've been taught, and I have to do this because we have to prep our way to get into the information because otherwise we don't have the framework. You would think that it's Islamic fundamentalist terrorism that's the problem, right? That's what they tell you on TV, the fake news. Right? Or another fundamentalist thing, it's whatever. The real fundamentalist religion is scientism. And you can't question it, just try. Just try. And you watch how they descend upon you in a wave of trolls. I mean, it was like Lord of the Rings. I'm throwing 3 goblins off the cliff over here. There's 6 more coming over here. You think that you can get alternative medicine? Then why are there doctors in Ontario getting little knocks on their door? Who are you? We're here to see if you have any ozone equipment here in this chiropractic office. I don't have any ozone equipment in this chiropractic office. What are you talking about? Well, we're here to just check. Now, ozone as a healing technology and information, you should, as you develop yourself in the alternative healing field, or actually natural and real healing field, become aware of inventions by people like Nikola Tesla, including the ozone plasma tube, which sends oxygen through a tube that strikes an arc, an electrical arc on that tube, and it turns that oxygen into O3, because oxygen's O2 usually, O3, O4, O5, O6, O7, O8, O9, O10, O11, O12, O13, O14, etc. And what happens is that comes out, And you can use that ozone, the electrically charged oxygen, to immediately fry viruses, fungus, yeast, and mold wherever they are. Let's say it's an ear infection. Boom, you stick that thing in your ear for 2 seconds, pop it out. Boom. Not allowed. Scientism won't allow it. It's not allowed. Why? Well, because the pill for every ill is making too much money. That's why it's not allowed. And then they use that leverage to drive education systems to brainwash every one of us from birth. We all been brainwashed from birth. To break out of that brainwashing is very, very intense. You'll battle me. You'll fight me about it. You will. And other people will too. And they'll battle you to, they will fight you to the death because their belief system is their religion. And you question that belief system, you're battling a fundamentalist religion. And you're battling a fundamentalist religious zealot. And you know what that means. I think you do. I think you know what that means. So in order for us to even have a real conversation about healing and health today, we have to understand what we are up against. We have to know what we're going to do to change it and how we're going to transform our world going into the future. But unless we know who we're up against, we cannot do that. So materialism and the fundamental battle of good versus evil. I've been looking at this for years and years, right? We're all educated. Our system is very, what's the word that's commonly used? We are educated in a scholastic, it's essentially atheistic kind of system, right? It's all materialism. You're a product of a monkey, all that stuff. And any evidence that comes in other than that is not allowed in because then all of a sudden, then you're this, then you're a creationist, then you're a fundamentalist Christian. So it's either this extreme or that extreme. Maybe it's neither. Maybe it's neither. When we get into breaking down our systems of learning, we have to understand that there are forces that are parasitic in our world. In our world today, this thing about good and evil, secular, right? We're trained in a secular way. And we go, the evil doesn't exist. Good and evil doesn't exist. Well, that's going to set you up right there for parasites because evil is parasitic. Evil is parasitic. People are looking at like the systems, people who are in power, if you know what I mean, and certain corporations that are in power. It's like, how could they be so successful? Because they are following laws of nature, parasitic laws of nature. Their enterprise is parasitic, and it's become so prominent. The evil in our world has become so prominent, evil, parasitism, same thing, that it's threatening the entire ecosystem of our entire world because a parasite has one particular problem. What's the problem? And it gets the host. Eventually, it causes the host to start going, but at that moment, as soon as the host is riddled with parasites, as soon as that occurs, there's an awareness that pops in of like, whoa, maybe it's something else. Maybe I've got worms, parasites, fungus, yeast, mold, virus. Maybe that's what the problem is. So all of a sudden, an awakening occurs. Is this sounding familiar? Yeah. Right, all you got to do is drop people's blood and start looking at what's in there, and you start going, oh, well, look at that little critter, and look at those cancer cells, and oh my God, what is all this stuff? So awareness suddenly pops in right at that moment that causes us to go, oh, it could be something else. Oh, we can save ourselves. And the parasitism of our civilization is so great, it's probably terminal. Unfortunately, I've got to tell you that, but you're not. You can save yourself. You can save yourself. You don't have to be involved in all that. And the way it starts is you got to watch out for, and this is why I'm a vegetarian. I'm not against meat. I'm not against people eating meat, but you got to be careful. And one of the traditional things about yoga, vegetarian diet. Because parasites, I don't know how it is, when you're a kid, you see the dead rabbit, you see the worms coming out of the gut and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to do that experiment as an adult, check it out. Any wild animal dies, the parasites come out right away. Any hunters in the room, when you get a deer, boom, the fleas start jumping off. What's a flea? It's a parasite, right? So it's just one of those things. It's an awareness, and we go back, in our cycle of history, because we're all taught of, millions of years story. What a pile of gobbledygook that is. The millions of years, oh, it's 10 million years to 60 million years ago, dinosaurs. See, even if I even question, you're like, what are you talking about? That's a fact. No, it's not a fact. Just the other day, Mark Armitage, you should look him up, a creationist scientist. I'm not for creationist or evolution. I'm a scientist. I don't have a belief about either of them. Right? That's what a scientist is supposed to be. I'm looking at all the evidence and trying to come to grips with it. This guy finally won a lawsuit against the Cal Poly Northridge, his university, because he came up with a triceratops horn that had soft tissue in it, which means it cannot be millions of years old. They fired him because that's against scientism. He sued them and won just the other day. He sued them and won just the other day. You see how that opens your mind? Right there, you're like, uh-oh, what do you mean the millions of years story could be wrong? Could be wrong. Probably is. The Greenland ice sheet, let me just tell you a little bit about this, because I love Iceland and I love Greenland. I love the Arctic. I love being in Quebec and Ontario because I like cold. Cold is good for you. It's one of the healing strategies. Hot, cold, hot, cold. Who's into hot, cold? Thank you. Who's never coming back again? The Glacial Girl. It's a World War II plane that crashed in Greenland and was recovered 268 feet below the ice. In 50 years, it was covered by 268 feet of ice. Now, you've got to know what that implicates. It means the Greenland ice sheet ain't as old as we think it is. Look into it. So I'm at a point now where if scientism's coming strong with something, it's probably BS. Because I've seen so much evidence that it's BS over the years. I'm not saying it's the other story. I'm saying we don't know. But I am suggesting that it's possible that parasitic entities will use scientism on their behalf. For example, last night I put out on Twitter an Israeli scientist who was working for big pharmaceutical companies, and he quit, and he was telling everyone, the world, what he experienced there. First thing they tell him is, we're not into cures. We're going after symptoms. First thing they tell you. Second thing is we got to make sure that the drug doesn't work too good, because if it works too good, then they're not going to keep coming back. These are the same people making our vaccines, people. You need to look into it. You need to investigate. We can't just accept what they're dumping on us, unfortunately. Unfortunately, even our universities they're co-opted by parasitic types of energies. And therefore, to get it right, we got to get this cleaned out and get deparasitized. But I want real medicine for you. I don't want this fake medicine or fake food or fake water or fake news or fake everything. What about being a vegan? I was a vegan for 20 years. That was great. From age 20 to 40 is a great time to be a vegan. But you get to a certain age with your hormones, you need that cholesterol molecule. So what does Ayurveda teach us? What does the yogic systems taught us? What does the Brahmins taught us over 5,000 years? The cholesterol molecule from ghee. That's what you need. Right? You need that if you're a growing child. You need that if you're 50 or above. In between, you could be, ghee, clarified butter. So you've taken the protein out, right? Because we could be allergic to the protein. I'm very allergic to dairy proteins, right? I can only, goat's cheese I can have, buffalo cheese I can have, cow cheese, no. Cow milk, no. But even then I have to take enzymes because I'll react to it, even a little bit. But ghee is a clarified butter. You're getting all the protein out, so you just have the oil and the cholesterol molecule. That's why ghee is so loved in Ayurvedic civilization, is that the teachings that have been coming out of India all these thousands of years are on. And they're accurate, and they can save you. And it means that the Brahmins and the testimony of the ancients should be listened to. The Brahmins are the inheritors of the Jain religion, and that's a vegan religion. So they've tried veganism out long thousands of years, and they found out ghee, cholesterol molecule, because that's what you need to form hormones, like progesterone, which is going to keep you young all the years of your life. Look into what progesterone does. I wrote a whole chapter in a book, my Longevity Now book. Has anybody ever read any of my books? How many people have burned my books? One in the back. There's always one. Probably from, Detroit. I was going to say New York, but Detroit. Very interesting what's going on with the formation of hormones from the cholesterol molecule. And this might be something important as time goes on. In the beginning, we all ate so much animal food of all kinds. We got too much cholesterol, too much everything. We got saturated on that. Then you go, let's go vegan. That's great. And then you clean yourself out. But at some point, you got to go, okay, I'm 40 now or 50. And like, maybe I need something else. I have a gal who's going through menopause right now who's one of those. She's been a vegan since she was 20 years old. She's 50. And I was like, Gee. I said, are you feeling better? She's like, I still feel awful, but I got to tell you, I am feeling better. Because she wasn't forming enough progesterone. And that when your hormones go down, the estrogen drops, and the progesterone, if that progesterone isn't there to counter it or neutralize it, the progesterone will drop quicker than the estrogen, then you get into real trouble. So you need the production of progesterone to stay up as much as possible by all means necessary as you approach and go through menopause and even beyond. We're very toxic, right? You're thinking all the automobile exhaust we've breathed in, all the crap that's being sprayed on us, perchlorate from jet fuel, just that only. My God, look into that, perchlorate. The stuff that's in our water and food, our whole lives. The stuff that's in our clothes. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The plastics, all of it. Petroleum byproducts. It's like, okay, we're toxic. They come at me, you said that chocolate is an octave of the sun. You can't understand poetry? These people cannot understand poetry. They cannot, no kidding. They don't get it. And that's the best thing they got against me. You said that, I don't even know what the insults are. I mean, it's just, it is unbelievably destructive what's coming out of these people. And they are on a self-destruction course. You can see it, you can detect it, and we can swing it. We can swing the vote away from them by exposing their fraud and their religious fundamentalism and get the masses of the people to go, screw this, we don't want nothing to do with that, and come over on this side.
Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe, like, and do whatever you wish. It's up to you. You are free in this life, and if you want to know how to change the world truly, please, I encourage you to check out my website, Nita.one. It's here for all of us, actually. It's not my website. It is my website, but it isn't. It's here for us all. We're all messengers. We're all fellow human beings. Let's change the world truly, and we can do it with Nita.one. Nature's the answer.